I don't know when Nigeria will go beyond 4,000 megawatts of power. That sounds better than when we had 2. There was time we had 2.
Yes, and despite the huge amount of money invested in the power sector, we've performed abysmally, and is to the fact that we have not fought corruption head on. Corruption had been the major cause of the epileptic power supply that we've had or experienced in Nigeria. The giant of Africa, boosting of about 200 million population, can boast of more than 4,000 megawatts of electricity. It's a shame. South Africa is generating over 30,000 megawatts.
It's just a population of 15 million.
And you wonder, it's not rocket science.
Yes.
It's not rocket science. We have failed to utilize alternative power sources like solar, like the wind. We had in the past only if we're stuck with generating the usual analog type of power generation.
Thermal.
We have not really transcended. We have not moved with the world, with the trend of things, and it's a shame actually, a country as Nigeria. But I'm happy that in vying for a solution, in looking for a solution, that government had deemed it fit to change legislation, which is that power generation had moved from the exclusive list to the concurrent list, which means that local government, state government can generate power and distribute to people, the local dwellings. And it's a good thing. I don't know why we're not utilizing it. I don't know why an Opiate or local government area cannot generate power and then make use of it, because one thing with power generation is it has multiplier effect. First thing, it will propel businesses to do well in that area, and then people will pay for this power. So is money returned guaranteed?
Yeah. Now there's a very big story there. When you look at the 2023 report, we generate more than we are transmitting, which means we have more problems with the transmission. If we're able to transmit all that we are generating,
about 11,000 megawatts.
Exactly. And so that's one big problem. And we're getting close to 15,000 megawatts, which is a little bit reasonable. And then another thing is, oil companies were also generating power for us. You talk about turbine, gas turbine, which the River State government did and took permission from federal government. And we had a lot of turbine, for example, in River State. If that tradition is taken around the world, around the state, and there is proper transmission, because NEPA was unbundled into generating power generation and power transmission and distribution.
So some 7 years ago, yes.
Exactly. So if this unbundling will be properly utilized, I think that the reform in the power sector will be actually successful. Now talk about the source of power, thermal power energy generation. Gas is the major source of power today.
Yes, in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, yes. Right.
And so if again, I like the fact that we are looking at this issue and then we are facing the facts as it is. We've noted that corruption had always been at the center of the reason why we're not performing well in the power sector. A situation where there's this conspiracy theory that those who invested in the importation of electricity generating sets have hampered the improvement of electricity in the country. When you begin to look at that, of course, you say, it's beer parlor talk. And the fact that collaborators might not be far from the government, which is why we're not making effort to utilize all we generate in the country. I think it's about time that we start to look at this issue holistically, that government will begin to look at, not selfish, but at least the importance of power generation and then power utilization in the country.
That's major issue.
If you generate 11,000 megawatts, if you use about 10,000 megawatts, and there's improvement in the workability of this distribution, you will see a Cosby. I not idly sitting at home, will venture into something, a production that, electricity can power. And that is the way we can raise our IGR. Yeah. There's no rocket science to it.
And GDP.
So GDP. Government at all levels, now that it's being unbundled, so to speak, now that we have a legislation to give power to even private individuals, you can generate power, you can distribute to yourselves, and then make use of it. In as much as you pay revenue to the federal government, it's okay. So let's see how we can, decentralize this whole blame on federal government and begin to probe our local government and begin to probe our state government. Engineer them to go into power generation to help our people